I am resident of Colorado for YouTube. Jules Sains, that is my buddy Patrick McCray, that is my buddy Alan Gallant. We are here to review The Boys from Brazil, directed by Franklin J. Schaffner.
Schaffner.
Schaffner. Screenplay by Haywood Gould. Uh, Based on The Boys from Brazil by Ira Levine. Uh,
11.
Yeah.
Produced by Martin Richards and Stanley O'Toole. Let's see, starring Gregory Peck, Laurence Olivier, James Mason. Cinematography is Henry Dickey, I think. Music by Jerry Goldsmith. Great job. Yes. Release dates October 6, 1978, United States. March 15th, 1979, United Kingdom. Wait, a whole year?
How
Wow.
many ever do that?
Wow. The budget was 12 million. Box office $19 million. Seven thousand rentals. Wow. Holy shit.
7 million, I think.
7 million, yeah. This
Yeah.
movie made a lot of money.
Yeah, I get VHS tapes, baby.
Yeah.
The first wave of VHS tape.
So, Patrick, this was your first time watching this, I believe.
Was.
What did you think?
It was good. It was very much of its time.
Mhm.
I remember seeing movies that were a lot like this. It reminded me a lot of another Olivier movie around this time called A Little Romance. Except this had Nazis and murder.
It's true.
But other than that, it was eerie. It was eerie. I expected Chris Makepeace to show up at any moment. And hey, yeah, no, sorry, the dog's gonna eat something. Yeah.
Well, it's the best thing that happened is that Michael Sarrazin didn't drive up in the Betsy. So
Exactly. So anyway, Michael Sarrazin didn't drive up.
talk about movies where old Olivier was cashing the check.
Boy, Larry certainly was here. I was watching it with my father, and he said, "Is that Laurence Olivier?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "That's good makeup." And I said, "No, it's a heart attack."
He's 68, 69 years old.
68 years old. He's had a heart attack. He lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
I actually put that weight back on at some point, but he was very thin for this.
Yeah. Well, were he and Danny still an item?
God knows.
Danny Kaye?
No, I don't think by this time. No.
That's my favorite Hollywood power couple.
Well, yeah. Joan Plowright being the third wheel.
Exactly. But let's talk about the movie. I thought it was really solid. I like that the personality of the Hitlerites, the Hitler kids, was always so salty.
Yes, extremely salty.
It's like, well, geez, just because you're the Fuhrer doesn't mean you got to be rude about it.
Yeah.
Maybe
just
Hitler's
forming a base for later in life.
Yeah, maybe Hitler's a polite young man. But I love the evil guy with the dogs who's so full of himself. You almost are happy to see him get it.
Yeah. Imagine he must have been somewhat abusive because he was handpicked to be domineering and abusive.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
So I was hoping that there would be a scene where he shows up at a penthouse and there's Conrad Bain, and it's his wrong sons, wrong place. Sorry, guys.
Oh, sure. Really different strokes.
It's oh, you're saying it's next door? Yeah. Sorry. It's okay. You want some strudel? No. Ooh,
interesting thing, this kid does a great performance, and he got good reviews at the time, and never did another movie. Went back to the stage. Apparently, he just loved working on stage.
Yeah. Well, he does put in a good performance, and of course with that telling haircut. Give him a Hitler haircut.
I think they dyed his hair really super jet black too.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of black hair dye going on in this movie.
Yes.
A lot.
Well, obviously our lead Dr. Mengele has been dipped in ink.
Yeah. Gregory Peck gets hot, and he's going to look like Giuliani.
Really?
He's just going to start running down the side of his face.
Yeah.
So that was my thought. It was fun. It was a
Mhm.
fun, vaguely conspiracy-esque movie that really, really wanted you to understand genetic science.
Yeah, they
And
did. The cloning was a vanguard item at this point in time.
I guess it was. Yeah, it was. And they really went through great pains, maybe too many, for the sake of entertainment, to make sure that this science was as legitimately expressed as it possibly could be.
And also commented on as being highly immoral in its use.
Yeah.
You know,
Like, you
now
just
let's
heard
make Adolf.
you just heard
Let's
Dolly the
make
Stinglings.
94 Adolfs.
Yeah. Which would have been a great title for the movie.
94 Adolfs.
94 Adolfs.
That would have been a Busby Berkeley film. Oh,
the 94 Adolfs of 1978.
it would have been all from the movie. What was Little Nicky or whatever, where Adolf is dressed in a French maid suit with a pineapple up his butt.
Alan, what did you think?
I saw this movie fairly soon after it opened. Actually, it was just weird enough. I wanted to go see it. I had just recently graduated from high school, and I was in my first semester of community college. So it was not. Yeah, I think I just went with a couple of friends. I wasn't seeing my first girlfriend yet. That was a few months later, I think. Um, like early 79 or something. But this wasn't like probably, November of 78, something like that I went to see this thing, probably at the Westgate Cinema or one of the local movie houses, one of the less reputable movie houses, actually, as I recall. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was fascinated by World War II stuff when I was a kid, so it kind of dovetailed into that for me. And also seeing these Hollywood and stage heavyweights all sort of in the same film was cool. I enjoyed that. I was not yet really doing theater per se. I'd done a couple of plays in high school, but they were just cheap one acts designed to make your parents laugh, that kind of stuff. I was still probably 3 or 4 years away from actually getting serious about theater and doing an internship. So for me, I was still drawn to the, thespian types, and I was still drawn to, particularly at this point in my life, all the young women that were doing theater at the community college. So there was that.
Speaking of young women doing theater, how about some of James Mason's outfits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just needed a little frillage.
Wow, the thing with the neck wrap and the gold chain around the neck wrap.
Yeah.
Oh, God, who thought that out?
Less Teutonic and more BDSM.
Yes.
All he needed was a black bandana around his neck.
Oh God, in which back pocket?
Yes, in his back pocket.
As good as this movie is, it doesn't feel like he's dressed appropriate for this film.
Well, it's just this weird intermediary period in the 70s when ascots were and cravats and stuff were all the rage, even though they were completely telegraphing gay. And a lot of gay men wore those as a methodology of identifying themselves at parties. I just mentioned the black bandana. That was one of the ways you mentioned you showed your preference. You put it in your back pocket, and at the gay bar, and other gay men would come up to you and say, "Bottom much" or something like that.
If you were into things, Jewel, there's a whole hanky code.
Yeah,
it depends on which color you wear and in which pocket.
Yeah, but in the 70s, even from the late 60s through the 70s in New York, the ascot cravat, that was a thing. That was definitely a thing. Now, it was a fashion choice for straight people too, but in certain circles it meant other things.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay if you were a member of Starfleet Medical.
Yeah.
If
If you're in the
Kelly for
theater,
them constantly.
if you're in the theater and you wanted to, experiment or something, yeah, you could do that. But yeah, the fashion choices are kind of odd in the late 70s. We're not quite in the post-disco era yet, but we're also in an era where British fashion is trying desperately to catch up from the browns and the tweeds that it's clung to outside of Carnaby Street for the last 3 decades. So you get this sort of tweedy college look on a lot of older men in particular, middle-aged men and older, sort of like this shirt, yeah, it was a different period. I mean, you you want to see the classic slob academic, watch Educating Rita.
Yes.
And that you get a lot of that there. And it was a weird time for like I say, middle-aged men and above.
I have a question for. Sorry if I cut you off, Alan.
No.
I have a question for both you guys. It's a stage question.
Hey.
If you did a play like this with a lot of cast, with a big cast, how difficult can it be, or maybe not difficult, to sort of like get everybody's timing in together?
Oh, you mean as a stage play, as opposed to a film? Oh my God. You'd have a long rehearsal period because you'd have scenes that involved completely different cast members, with 2 or 3 people that appeared in most of the scenes.
Are you talking about like big crowd scenes?
And
that too.
But it would take some time to really adjust, and also you'd have to have a reasonable amount of money, other than or a really creative lighting designer to do a very bare stage kind of thing. You could do it either way, I suppose. Although obviously it would work better on a larger stage with some sets that could fly in and out and all of that. But it would be a full scale Broadway thing in that respect. But you could do it. You could do it on a smaller scale.
Joel, are you talking about cast management? Like, how you handle the cast in the big scenes?
Well, that too, and in a sense of, okay, like, you got to get all these guys and gals' timing down with each other, or whether they're apart, like that, stuff like that too.
There are techniques you use. I mean, it's trying to talk to a bunch of individuals at once is sort of tough. I usually break them into squads.
Yeah.
And teams where I'm dealing with, groups of 4 or 5 who all have sort of coordinated actions. And then I put those together.
Yeah.
Where I look at the blocking philosophy of the Duke of Saxe-Meiningen when there's more than 5 people on the stage. So
yeah.
Basically, you literally, as a director, you have crowd control when you have large numbers of people on stage, and you have to figure out layers of how the blocking works and what people are doing. And
there's also a technique where if they're not being very disciplined about it, you simply explain, guys, we all agree we have to get this done, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The more I have to shout, and the more you're going to be paying only semi attention and wandering around doing crap, the longer this is going to take.
Right.
And so if you want to go drink, which is usually the great incentive, let's get this done, and they tend to come together pretty well.
Yeah.
And some of it is just being able to show them a good time, so really, and deal with boredom, and because there are a lot of things outside of that in rehearsal management.
Yeah, and a less experienced cast will get bored in crowd scenes because they don't have necessarily the wherewithal or the mental discipline to work on little character things.
It helps in a show like that to have a few days of rehearsal sprinkled around where you meet with people individually.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have, the last time I directed something that big, just about 70 people, it's the biggest cast I've ever had. I had several times where I took an entire 2 or 3 days and just met with every member of the cast for about 10-15 minutes each, at least, and just ask how they were doing, and I give them suggestions. If you do things you've got to make sure that they have individual agendas and
Have
that they're
something to
treated
do.
as individuals.
Yeah.
And usually I gave them secrets that involved other members of the cast, relationships or things like that. Sometimes they would talk about, sometimes they wouldn't. That gave them just little things to do when no one was looking. Sometimes I wouldn't even tell the other member of the cast. If it was a one-way seat, you really got a thing for this person and you're trying to avoid their husband and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And then, there were the characters.
Mhm.
So, development for this, the book came out in 1976 and was a
Yeah.
bestseller in August of 1976.
Ira Levin was a very popular author. He wrote Rosemary's Baby. He also wrote
Stepford
Springtrap.
Wives.
Yeah,
and Stepford Wives. He
Not
wrote
a
a
good
lot
movie.
of freaky kind of stuff in this area. Later, he wrote trashier stuff like Sliver, but
Yeah.
It was in August of '76. It was announced of the producers group Robert Fryer and Martin Richards, Mary Lee Johnson, and James Crescent had optioned film rights to the novel and would make the movie in association with Lou Grade. Fryer had just made Voyager of the Damned for Grade. According to producer Martin Richards, Robert Mulligan was the original director. In May of 1977, it was announced Laurence Olivier would star, but this stage Franklin Schaffner was attached to direct. Gregory Peck joined the film in July. Olivier had recently been ill and was taking as many well-paying jobs as he could in order to provide for his wife and children after his death. Peck agreed to portray Mangel only because he wanted to work with Olivier. Mason initially expressed interest in playing either Mangel or Liberman. Lily Palmer also accepted a small role just to work with Olivier to prepare for the roles of the Europe clones. Jeremy Black was sent to a speech studio in New York City by 20th Century Fox to learn how to speak with both an English and a German accent. To emphasize of the film is not Nazis, said producer Fryer. It is really about cloning, a logic extension of existing facts, and it's about the hatred that two men have for each other. No shit.
Yeah, and
well,
Joel,
it's about
thing,
Nazis too. But
yeah.
but yes, cloning is the primary theme, I think. The horror of moral horror of cloning Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, and one thing, normally it's no big deal. Oh, there goes down. Normally it's no big deal, but the name of Gregory Peck's character is really important. It's pronounced Mengele.
Mengele. Okay.
And Mengele was a real guy.
Yeah. He was the angel of death at Auschwitz. He performed experiments on people. Terrible.
He's sort of the Dr. Pretorius of the Nazis.
Yeah, and he actually did escape and lived, I don't know, until the 1980s, I think. He had family members that kept track of him, but he was in hiding in South America under an assumed name.
Yeah. Yes. Although the bulk of this film is set in South America, Fryer says actually filming on the continent was logically impossible. So the decision was made to shoot it in Lisbon, Portugal. Filming started in Portugal in October of 1977, with additional filming in London, Venya, the Converting Dam in Austria, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Scenes that were set in Massachusetts were shot in, London. So there you go. Let's go for that. I will say with this movie, it's well shot. I give the cinematographer a lot of credit. It's such a intense movie, but it gets every point across that it wants. And it doesn't lose the audience, which can be a very difficult thing sometimes for movies, or make you even feel like this is my third time watching this movie altogether. This movie never bores me. And even though I know what's going to happen, and it's because everybody does such a great job of keeping you vastly interested in the movie. All the individuals. So,
Well, you've got several actors that know the little things to do. The psychological gestures, the behind the eyes stuff when you're still, all of that sort of thing is happening. So that's really good. And this is probably his most villainous role, although early in his career he played some villains in at least one Western. He played a really bad guy. I forget the name of it now, but he was not he was not playing villains at this point in his career, particularly.
Yeah, the rumored pirate cut of To Kill a Mockingbird. Apparently, he was pretty menacing.
Arr.
But we don't talk about that. He wore the ham costume and threatened the entire neighborhood. It was a very dark, strange film.
Yes. Well, he's wearing the ham costume in this film in several scenes. He goes completely berserk,
God, he is.
When he really attacks, his most loyal follower because he thinks he's betrayed him in a party scene. He's just going completely.
That's the sort of acting only the late 70s could give us.
Yeah.
Wait, I set you up for that one.
There's no disco balls. We have to go berserk in the scene. All right. There's no flash of light.
Now, the classic movie, which I'm sure we have talked about, that Shatner directed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, yes, that's right. That's right. He has. He directed several really good films, as a matter of fact. But yeah, Planet of the Apes, big time. The first and the finest, as far as I'm concerned, of that first series at least. I haven't seen much of the more recent series, but it's pretty decent. I mean, I've seen. I still think the original movie is the best.
Sure.
Yeah, Peck's character goes from zero to crazy.
He does because the guy is a sadistic killer.
I mean, you're not going to make a movie in 1978 about Joseph Mengele and
have him be homicidal.
And have him have a warm side. It's like you gotta give Mengele.
I've since mellowed.
Yeah,
I miss Adolf. I want to make him again. Yeah, right. Yeah, when I first saw this movie, though, the first thing that really stood out to me was how much black shoe polish did you use?
Yeah.
Wow, HGTV does a lot.
I mean, I'm sure it may have been a personal choice. Like, I've got to make this guy look as villainous and demonic as possible. I mean, his makeup is really pale too. I mean, he's done the whole thing.
Well, they use it on the kids too. So
the kid is very pale because
they're all coated.
Hitler was considered pale and sickly as a child.
Yeah.
This kid is not sickly. He's got an edge of sadism.
He's making up the whole thing about having the flu. Yeah. I don't trust him for a second. That kid Hitler, there's a problem with him.
Kid Hitler, yeah. He's a card.
And Laurence Olivier character burns the list after.
Well, the idea I think is that these clones weren't responsible for being cloned, and they weren't necessarily going to turn out to be Adolf Hitler either. Especially
that's the goofiest
the whole
idea.
Plan of killing off all of their adoptive fathers was stopped.
Yeah. Even with that is such a I got to tell you. I mean, this is a movie that works only insofar as you, as an audience member, are willing to go, "Oh, okay," because it's a colossally dumb idea that this weird mix of Skinner and all this other stuff is going to create a bunch of Hitlers. There are a lot of factors. I mean, you have to recreate Weimar Germany and just all sorts of stuff.
And World War I.
Yes.
Yeah. And then throw him in jail for a couple of months after he pulls a college prank by trying to take over the university or something. I don't know.
Yeah. That is where this film kind of
the Harvard putsch.
That is where this film, I would say, stretches its reality. It's like you're not really setting the situation properly in that context.
It's you have to suspend disbelief here.
Yeah, you do.
Roll with the punches, and you can. I mean, you
Yeah.
can. It's got pacing that allows you to do that. So
I think what helps is how outrageous some of the characters are in the film. Not just Peck's
no,
portrayal,
there's
but
some other.
the other people killing the people will make it look accidental.
Yes,
It's
the
like,
youth, the young Nazis, those
yeah, yeah, yeah,
20
yeah,
something guys. Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
TV series with Richard Chamberlain
the young
of the late 1960s. Yeah, the Young Nazis.
from the people that brought you Dr. Kildare,
Mm-hmm.
the young Nazis.
Oh, gosh. Some of you guys' favorite scenes in this movie?
The
Oh,
last scene where there is blood everywhere,
yeah.
and pistol shots and dogs,
Yeah,
just insane. And then the
Yeah,
kid
it's
comes in and you don't know what he's going to do. The first time you see the movie,
no.
you have no idea what he's going to do because he's a little bastard, and he's
Mhm.
likely to do anything. And he has this. It's like, if I left you here before mommy got home, you'd die.
Yeah,
Okay, but if you promise not to tell, oh, I promise not to tell. Okay, good. And the kid buys it because he's a kid.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, and he doesn't tell tell anybody about how it actually happened. I'm
yeah,
sure he said, "It's this Joseph Mengelé's body over here." Okay.
yeah, yeah. All mangled up by the dogs.
Uh-huh.
Patrick.
Oh, I still can't get over what James Mason was wearing. The chain.
Sartorial splendor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I kept waiting for Peck to tell him, take off what you're wearing. Literally,
Yes,
take all that off.
Well, not all of it.
Well,
This
no, but
movie is a
like
very
the
different
costume,
movie.
just like what are you wearing, dude?
Do you have a basement? Good. Undress
Yeah,
slowly and go there.
yeah,
you're betraying me. Turn that ascot into a real tie.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
I think if
Take
you
the
could
chain off.
take this movie and intercut it with footage from Cheaper to Keeper, starring Mac Davis, you got a hell of an era specific nightmare.
North Berlin 40.
Exactly.
Oh my god! Wait, Mac Davis, the wrestler?
No, Mac Davis, the
Country singer.
musician, songwriter, and
Oh, okay.
erstwhile ersatz actor.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I follow a wrestler named Mac Davis on X, and he follows
sure,
me.
sure,
I didn't know if
sure.
that's what the
Yeah,
same day.
no,
No, he's not that classy.
no. This is a Mac Davis who he really peaked in the '70s. He as a popular songwriter,
Okay,
and
my bad.
but he also became this movie star for a few
Yeah.
years. So
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes in this toward the end is the fact that you have the dogs locked up in the house, and you do like when Peck's character Will Trail shoots the other guy. It's like, okay, it's like you've executed this ridiculous. You're trying to execute this ridiculous plot, and what helps you buy it is just the craziness of the other characters, which has been the build the whole time. I love how my favorite part is when Olivier's character releases the dogs. Like he just gets there and like bam,
just in time. Yeah.
just in
And of
time.
course, it goes for, and it's explained why they only go for Mengele.
Yeah, the gun.
He's got a gun.
Yeah, yeah, and that's actually one of the best explanations in this.
Well,
movie.
it makes sense.
Makes sense.
I mean,
Yeah,
you can train dogs to respond to a threat. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and he only had 400 dogs around the property.
I was
Holy crap!
I
How
will
many
say what
Dobermans did they have to like? How many Dobermans were there in
The Alpo budget was huge
Fox
on this
County
movie.
or wherever they filmed this thing? It's like they might
I will give them
got a
credit
call for Dobermans. Must
I give
have
them
pinched ears.
yeah. I give this film a lot of the people who did the book in this film a lot of credit for kind of being ahead of the curve with the whole cloning. Let's make a movie
Oh
about
yeah.
cloning.
It was just at the beginning of that whole idea of cloning. They were starting to clone, like you said, they were cloning plants and they were cloning small animals,
Yeah.
or attempting to. At that
Yeah,
point.
not people.
No, not people and not larger animals. Like they ended up doing with Dolly,
Yeah.
Kate
the
Smith.
sheep. But yeah,
Yeah. What do you scale of 1 to 10? What do you guys give the movie?
I give it a 9, just because it's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I give him 9. Sure.
Yeah, I give this a 9.25. It's a lot of fun to watch this movie. It's very entertaining.
It's
Is the plot a bit ridiculous?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it
the
is.
actors, we got good actors who can sell it for the most part.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's what makes this movie a lot of fun to watch. They're selling not just cloning. I mean, that was one thing.
Right.
But the whole let's murder the other people
You're
plot.
right, the whole Nazi plot thing.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
did you need that plot? No, but still, it worked for this.
yeah,
So,
yeah. They committed to it, especially Gregory Peck. I've never seen him more committable. I mean,
Oh
committed.
my God.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I watched this one after The Omen.
Mhm.
And like you said, they use a lot of shoe polish in this. They didn't use shoe polish
I
for
think
him
he
in The
wanted a
Omen.
completely different look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
completely different look. So both great movies
Mhm.
and both completely different performances, and how people need to really go back and watch how great Peck, Olivier, and Mason were. I mean, they all three great actors. So
Yeah, and The Omen was a different kind of movie for Peck
yes, it
too,
was.
as
Yeah,
well as this one. Very different
yeah,
for his image,
yeah.
if you will.
I've got a question for you guys. The Omen curse, legit or shit?
Now there's an Omen curse.
Some of the Omen movies shit. Some of the Omen movies
Well,
legit.
let's see. People died.
I think
Nonsense.
it's kind of shit.
Is it?
It's like the
Okay.
poltergeist curse,
Or the
Okay.
because
Exorcist
the
curse.
kid died, and of
Yeah,
course
the
they
kid.
tried to link everything else to it afterwards.
This is like the Macbeth thing. I mean, in production, people are going to get hurt.
Yeah,
And,
especially when there are broadswords being
when
used.
okay, with Macbeth, let's look at it. There are broadswords, there's pyrotechnics, there's smoke,
Yeah,
there's weird lighting, you got strange levels, dropping off into nowhere. You do any show like that. You do a production. I did a production of Annie that had all those elements
yeah,
and the broadswords and so on, and people got hurt.
yeah. It's when
So
they
I have
start using long bows and like shooting them off on stage.
But yeah, seriously, stages and sets are. I know you're not talking about that, Joel, but they're rated by OSHA. It's right behind construction sites.
Yeah,
They're
in other words,
dangerous places to work.
dangerous as hell and probably
Yeah.
in violation of code.
Code. Imagine code
What
reply
code
making
schmode?
sense.
Yeah.
God, no.
The
There's no
one thing you
code.
do have to make sure of is at least that you have a modicum of safety when it comes to lighting things on fire.
Oh yeah.
You have to do that. But everything else is like, okay.
It's all pretty sketchy.
Oh, we have fire marshals come by all the time, and they always look at our electrics, which of course half of them are temporary because they're done for a show, and then they have to be unplugged. Oh, just make sure you unplug them when you're not doing a show and everything's fine. Oh, sure, no problem. Fuck you.
I listen. I kid you not. When we did plays in like the 5th grade, our teacher said, if you catch fire, stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and
Sure.
roll.
Yes.
Absolutely, that's actually a wise thing to do.
That's exactly what we were told.
That's how
And
you catch
everybody
fire.
knew what that was by that time. So
Mhm.
you're taught very young on that shit.
Yeah.
So, guys, I have a very interesting movie for you Thursday if you want to watch, if you want to review it.
Sure. We won't watch.
What you got, man?
The Serpent and the Rainbow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
That is a great
Wes
movie. I haven't seen that in a
Craven.
long time.
Wes Craven.
It's
It's on
fabulous.
YouTube if you want to watch it.
Let's do it.
I'll send it to you guys. I'll see you guys Thursday night. Link to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Daybook of Bound going to be in the description box. Link to Alan Gallant's YouTube channel. Colin's Porch After Dark is going to be in the description box. Guys, you have a safe night and take care.
Take care.